Yeah, so I guess it's always been Sydney Swat's fault, right, for creating the arms race.
Yeah, it's all
Historically
SWAT's fault.
speaking, it's always Swat's fault. So now, you know, now that the gloves are off and everyone is you get a pro, you get a pro. Everyone brings a pro, you know.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Down Under Paintball. I'm Scott, your host. This is now episode 2. We're sitting down today with Ringo, who is playing for Sydney Swat. We spent many years playing together on the field, him and I. So we get to chat a little bit about how he got into the sport, his history of growing up playing paintball in Sydney, some of the fields that were around in that time, and then getting a chat into what the Super Sevens was like in the early 2000s and all the way through to the current day. So thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. This is Down Under Paintball. I'm here with my guest today, Ringo from Sydney Swat.
Hey, thanks for
How's it
having
going?
me, Scotty.
So we're actually here today to talk about paintball. We're not going to be spending too much time on where to eat dumplings in Sydney.
Well, the more pressing issue is where do you shop for your toilet paper and have you stocked up? That is the issue right now, amongst everything else. So I got my stash. Do you have your stash?
Yeah, these times it's very very important.
You know, before we go on to paintball, I can't now sort of walk around in the aisles and look at other people and see whether they've got toilet paper. Why? And then the ones that don't have toilet paper, I want to know why they don't have toilet paper, and then do they use toilet paper? Because now you see everyone walking around the aisles with a bunch of toilet paper underneath the armpits or in the trolley. You kind of like go, man, did this guy ever wipe his bum? Because he's not carrying any form of paper.
Maybe they got in
Anyway,
early. Maybe
yeah,
they got in
they
early
may
and
have got
stocked
it
up.
all. Yeah, those preppers, man, they're already in there. They go, nah, let these people kill themselves over toilet paper.
So so where are you like moving on to onto more on topic talk? Where are you calling in from
Yeah,
today?
I'm calling in from my humble home in Marrickville, Sydney, Australia, and yeah, just finished having dinner and then now coming on this call and have a good old chat about you know all things paintball and anything else that you like to ask.
Yeah, well, we'll stick with paintball.
Yeah.
So for everyone, like, let's go all the way back to the start. Where did begin for you, and how did you get into the sport?
Well, I started punter ball, like bush ball, like probably like every other you know ballers out there. I started just after I turned 18 and started around, well, I can't even remember the year. It's been that long ago. But when I was 18, I, went to Yarramundi, started out playing there, just with friends, colleagues, going out, having fun. And then later on down the track, um, after about a couple of years of just sort of, every now and then doing some random events with friends, I came across the rookie or novice games back then where Wyberg was actually holding them down at Helensburgh. So from there, I just sort of, started playing all the amateur stuff and uh, just, on and off for I think it's like a couple of years or so, maybe 2 or 3 years actually. And from there, yeah, just kind of just plodded along, brought some friends together, went on to play, had some fun. It was all about just enjoying yourself, right? So,
Oh,
those are the
that's it.
days.
So
Yeah.
so you say when you went and started out at Yarramundi, was that sort of the closest field to
Well,
the city at that time?
at the time, that was kind of like I guess, the premier field of Sydney. Had the largest setup. It had all the cool kit. The remote gas line, you name it, man. Like it
Oh,
was
okay.
it was the bee's knees at the time, So it
Remote gas
was,
line, that would have, yeah, that would have been
yeah.
a big.
So that's showing my age, man. That's and Wyber's older than me, right? So just remember actually. So yeah, I was running around. I think they were like RT mag or whatever. I don't know I don't even know the names of the stuff. I just remember just going, I want that kit, pay a whole bunch of money, and then went out, run out running around being like a madman. So that just got me addicted. So, but there was a time when you couldn't own a paintball marker. So I remember, I just remember going to the events and we would hire all our gear, and then we'd see guys rocking up with all their kit. So yeah, I remember
Sounds a
going,
bit dodgy.
what? Well, I was like going, what? These guys got their own stuff. They got their pumps and they're all kitted up, right? And here we are rocking up with these, high kit. And while these guys is, fully like, in their uniforms and camos and whatever else that they got going on. And we go and play, and obviously we get, our asses handed to us. We're just getting smashed. But so we went, oh, well, we should go and get our own stuff. So you remember Eddie Lee?
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
so he,
used to
yeah,
play on SWAT for a little
yes,
while. Yep.
yes, for a little while, for a very short while actually.
Yeah.
But he, the both of us were at where we go. There was a paintball store out at Bankstown, which was the owner of the Yarramundi field. That's right.
So it was like
Uh,
a standalone shop, not
yeah.
connected to a field.
Well, I didn't know where they were connected at the time, to be honest. But
Oh, I
now,
mean, like, it didn't have a field out the back or anything like that.
no, it was like a
Just,
store out
yeah,
in
wow,
Bankstown. Right, it was just a
that's
shop
crazy.
off. Yeah, and I remember going in there, eyes wide open, going, "Wow, look at this! All the the auto cockers, the splash on it, and all the rest of it." And I looked at the price tag, and it was like many thousands, right? And back then, I was like 19 or 20 or whatever it was at the time, and I was on measly money, right? Barely feeding myself, let alone go and spend money on paintball and paintball markers. But
It's a
I
luxury.
was fascinated, and I wanted to play tournament paintball and take it up seriously. But the thing that held me back was you couldn't take it home. So you buy it only to have this really expensive toy, you know, being held by somebody else, but you've paid for it. So, and then I was like, well, what's the point of that? Like, you can't even take it home. So, I might as well just hire the kit and be done with that and just keep using that.
So you
On
had
top of
to,
that, yeah.
like, you had to pick a field. So if you wanted to play at Helensburgh, your gun had to stay at that field. Was that sort of how it worked?
I I think so, man. Like I really didn't know the logistics of it at the time because I was still kind of just, you know, understanding how the whole process worked. Like, how do you actually get the gun, the licensing and all that. Well, long story short is that after discovering the costs of the first initial outlay of buying the kit, all the gun and the gun only, forget about the rest of the stuff, and then finding out the cost of the paint. Back then we're talking, hundreds, not like how it is today. People
Yeah.
whinge about the cost of it today, man. You talk about myself and people even before me and what they pay for paint, man, they've got nothing to bitch about. That's for sure. Yeah, so the cost was just too prohibitive to buy your own stuff. So in the end, I kind of just sat out and not continue to play because it just found it. I'll just continue doing the punter games and the tournaments, the cheap rookie tournaments, amateur tournaments, and then that'll be enough. And then years down the track, I think I don't know, maybe about 3 4 years later, the gun laws changed,
Okay. Was
and
that
I think
to do with like the like Port Arthur, or was it a bit later than that?
not sure. Again, timeline, mate. It's a bit of a blur because it is a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I do remember someone else was telling me, one of our other friends said, "Oh, I found out that you can now buy the paintball marker and take it home because they've changed
Oh,
the rules on
okay.
it."
Yep.
So and I was like, "What?" are you serious? He goes, yeah, this has all changed. Apparently it was all, it was all new. And I went, all right, let's go and have a look. Yeah. So after, doing a little bit of reading, doing a little bit of ring around, doing a bit of research, found that you could, buy it and take it home. So yeah, we, funny enough, my, I'm fast forwarding a little bit here, but my first
Fun.
paintball gun was actually a Sydney Swat gun.
Oh wow.
It was, oh man,
Not a ego, an eclipse
no,
gun
no,
or
no,
anything.
no. Before that, it was a cocker.
Oh
Um,
wow. Okay.
it was
Old
like the
school.
last, yeah, it was like the last of the, you know, what is it? I can't even know. I can't remember the name of it. Can you remember? You have to help
Oh,
me.
that was before my time.
Yeah,
I
you know
came
the
in
one
right
with
at
the,
the end of all the autocockers and that sort of stuff.
yeah, it was
Uh,
like the I can't even remember the model. It was the last of the one before they went to all, you know, oh man, it just escaped me. I'm sure someone out there is like screaming at me, going, "It's this, it's that." But anyway,
yeah,
I'm hopeless in trying to remember all the tech.
I'm the same. As long as it shoots, put it in my
Yeah,
hand. That's
exactly.
all.
Put it
Yeah,
in my hand. Let's just go.
yeah.
But so yeah, that was my and that's right because the Sydney SWAT guys they all were selling off their stuff because they were getting new guns from their sponsors. So they were offloading all these ones. So Eddie and I both picked one up each, and yeah, and that's where it all kicked off. So I actually own a Sydney SWAT gun before I was ever in the team, like years later, which
So
is
do you still
ironic.
have it, or
Nah,
have
I'm
you
not.
got rid of it a while ago?
Yeah, man, like ages ago. I'm terrible with collecting. I'm not much of a collector. I just, after like a couple of years, I just offload it. Um,
Yeah, why not? You
so
can't shoot more than one, so
well,
there's no
yeah,
point
like
having an armory full of guns.
well, also too because of the cost, you want to upgrade. I can't afford to keep both. You have to let something go, right? Um, so I just, in order to save money and move to the next best thing, you gotta have to let go and sell things off just to you know get every dollar you can for the next toy.
Well, especially back then, the paintball was sort of coming in leaps and bounds. At
Yeah,
that stage, the guns were just getting every new gun that came out was actually it wasn't just we've got a black one instead of a purple one or something a different color. It was the guns are actually having technical advances so quickly then. So it was a
yeah,
time when upgrading a gun was actually a big deal.
yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm just having a flashback now. So that year, I remember the I'm going back to the SWAT guy because I was obviously at Action in the early days
That was at Helensburgh,
at,
was it still?
at Rouse Hill. Now
Okay.
fast forward.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I did all my fun and my apprenticeship, so to speak, at the Yarramundi and the Helensburgh field, and then I discovered that Action Paintball in Rouse Hill, and that's where I bought the Sydney SWAT gun of
Okay.
Mike. I don't know who owned it. I just knew that it was one of the team guns or whatever it was.
Yep.
Then I remember that year was the year that the DMs like
Okay.
had arrived.
That would have been around,
And
I think, 2004. Was that the first?
four, that's right, oh 04,
Yeah. Yep.
exactly. And I remember, who was the former player of Sims Watch? Oh, geez, he lives in Malaysia now. Oh, damn.
That would be Whitey.
Whitey, that's right.
Yeah.
So
Paul
Whitey was
White.
out in the
Yeah.
yeah, Paul White, that's right. He was at the bottom field with this black and yellow or black and gold DM, and it was just shredding paint, like just tearing, just shooting like a moon. And I was just like going, what? I can't believe it. Like I got this thing that I bought off, and they upgraded into this thing, and I not long after that I upgraded because what I witnessed. Um, I can't even remember what that second one upgrade was now. Like to be honest, like oh I think it was a Timmy. Maybe the
Yeah, I do remember
yeah,
SWAT. Or maybe they were a little bit later. I think around
yeah,
2006 was the Intimidator.
yeah. I never owned
Uh,
a die ever. Not to say they're not any good. I just never owned one. Um, but yeah,
yeah,
that's
they were good guns. Then
yeah,
I remember
that was my memory of it. Oh yes, of course. I've got it was the smart parts game. What are they called? The
the
ions.
shock.
Is that right?
Oh,
The
the
shockers.
shocker back
Ions.
then,
No,
maybe.
no, no. The ion, the plasticky one.
Yeah, the plastic, fantastic, the ion. Yeah, they were.
Ions. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
they
what it
were
was. I
cheap.
was trying. Yeah, I was like, that's it. So that was my upgrade.
Yeah,
So yeah,
from
so yeah,
the cocker
man, it's
to the
just
ion. Yeah.
yeah, that was a bit of a
So
flashback.
so you and Eddie have gone out and you've bought your guns. You're getting into the tournament scene.
Yeah,
How did how did that all start? How
yeah.
did you
So
what was your first foray into that?
so so there's two of us and around up a couple other schoolmates, and then hey, let's put a team together and let's give it a go and have some fun with it. Um, because we're all playing, like I said, we've played at Yarramunda together, we played at Helensburgh together, so we kind of figured, oh well, let's continue the trend and let's all band together and form a team and you know get into it. Um, so
Was
uh, my
were
first
the
team,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, go on. What are you gonna ask?
I was just going to say the tournaments at Helensburgh, was that you said they were like novice events. Was that a like tournament style? Like what was the style? Like five man
Man, I wish
or
Wiper was standing
anything?
here next to me about this because
Yeah.
he could probably answer a lot of these questions. Because I can't even remember whether it was. All I remember, the top hat Joker guys. They were there, and we were playing
Okay.
against them. It was kind of like a mix. It was mixed groups. I just remember there were some guys that was just fully kit up at, but then we also. All I know that we were playing in an amateur rank, and that was it. Um,
Okay.
I, I I don't remember the ins and outs and what pros and AMs did they all mix. Man, it's a blur because it's that long ago.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sure there were divisions, but I don't remember it. I just remember getting smashed by people with fully kitted up stuff, you know. Um,
Okay. So they
so
just came out to
yeah,
beat up on the new guys.
no different than when we all started out. Let's be honest here. We've all been there. Yeah, so Eddie and I and Dave Brake was another guy from school, and a couple of other friends. We all got together, formed a team called Valhalla, um, and that was our first serious, team, or so to speak, to and get into the whole tournament scene. Yeah, so that was that, and
So and the tournament scene back then, that was seven man, was it? Or
yes, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. There was quite a few. I can't remember a couple of the other guys that were playing with us, but there were 7 or 8 of us at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good days in the seven man day, so
Oh yeah, yeah. That was good because you don't have to worry about
all
sitting
happening.
people. There was plenty of there was plenty of spots. In fact, I remember that was probably the biggest struggle because the teams were larger. It just you had to find more people, you know. So now you got more people but less players on the field.
Yeah.
So you have teams of 8s and 9s sometimes, and only 5 guys can go on the field.
Yeah,
So
a lot of bench warming going on.
oh yeah, lots of oranges being cut, water being poured, the works. Um,
So, do you remember
yeah,
how your very first event with Valhalla went?
uh, pretty sure we lost everything. We weren't very good or very successful, but we did try. We thought we would give it a good hot go. Um, the we oh man, I can't remember how many events we played. I think we played like a maybe one and a bit season, I think, maybe two, from memory.
Was this the
And
Super Sevens then as well?
yeah, that's right. Yes, yes. Um, and yeah, so man, bit vague on that because it's been a while pulling up all these, trying to dig deep in my memory bank on all these, you know.
Oh, it's not easy to remember when you were losing. It's
Well, not even that. It's just what happened during the course of the like in those events, or who played what and where and all the rest of it.
yeah.
Uh, all I remember is some of the people that play with me because they're still friends. Um, Others have moved on. I'm still lingering around. A bad smell.
Is there
Uh,
any of those Valhalla players still hanging around
uh,
today in the sport?
None, not one. I'm like the last man standing.
Do you still have the Valhalla jersey? You can you can
No, that was
keep rec-
well and truly binned. Um, how the name came about was it actually came from my hockey team. I used to play inline hockey
Okay.
a lot.
Wow. That's a bit of a jump to paintball.
Yeah, I broke my ankle and I couldn't strap the boots anymore.
Okay.
Uh, yeah,
Wow.
and so I had to stop. Play that for a number of years, and yeah, I just couldn't. Every time I put the boots on and skate around, it would be just throbbing from the broken after I'd broken my ankle because it healed and whatnot and did the physio, but it was all screwed up. So in the end, I had to give it up, and that's where kind of paintball just slotted in. So,
Yeah. Okay.
uh,
So safer than inline hockey, you're saying?
oh man, well, it's it's I guess there's less likely to break stuff and get your teeth knocked out or get concussed
So inline
than
hockey, like it's very contact
it's well,
contact
yeah,
sport. Yeah.
it's just like ice hockey, right? So,
Okay.
but yeah, so but yeah,
No,
anyway,
I've
so
never
I
played.
so I just moved on from that's how where I moved on. I just moved on from that and went to play paintball because I thought, well, I still get to run around, shoot people, have fun, and yeah, and playing with a bunch of mates, and that's where the name Valhalla came from. It actually came from that team, and we just rolled it over and get, oh, we'll just use the same name for the
Yeah.
paintball team for
Yeah.
a few
Save on
extra
the
points.
advertising.
Save on the advertising.
On rebranding.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why I don't have the photos anymore, but there were the early day jerseys that we had. The Valhalla jersey were actually our hockey jersey. They were not that
Cool.
different from the modern day paintball jersey. You know.
Yeah, I've seen a few people try it. They wearing ice hockey jerseys out on the field. So you guys are
Yeah.
trendsetters.
Well, we just figured that we just saw people wearing a loose jersey. I said, well, why do we need to go buy a new one if we can use that? Eventually, we ended up buying these, blank, black blank jerseys, and I don't even know what they were. I think they were actually made by a hockey company. It was just plain. They were like practice jerseys, and they were just all black. And then we just went and got a screen printer and just got it Valhalla printed on them. So we just made a bunch of them out of it.
Yeah, that's
And
all you need to start a team.
yeah,
Doesn't need to be
yeah.
fancy.
But yeah, we I think that we at the end of I think we ended up all wearing, I think I had I think I had like top to toe. I looked like a Power Ranger, top to toe, dye, jersey, pants. I think goggles as well. No, did I have goggles then? No, I don't think so. Anyway, I looked like a Power Ranger. I remember it
Were
was
they all
all
the same, all the matching color?
yeah. It was like I said, I looked like a Power Ranger, man. I was like the red Power Ranger.
It's
Um,
everyone's you got to pick a color and match. Everything's got
yeah,
to be
back then, man,
coordinated. It's
it
good.
was all about the court. It was all about the outfits, man. It's not about your playing style. Even to this day, lots of people, man. It's all about the kit, the outfits, the hair, the the sandanas or the banners, the beanies. Doesn't matter if you really crap at the game or not very successful at it. Win, lose, doesn't matter as long as you
Well,
look good.
That's it. That's the
That's
aim of the
it.
game,
The aim-
especially uh, like now as paintball media is getting better. You know that it was probably back when you were playing then. You know, someone would have to go and get the photos developed, but now it's you're going to get photos taken of you when you're playing, so it's even more important now to look good.
Yeah, well, exactly right. There's I think when we started, didn't have social media then, so you don't get the instant gratification of people loving your outfit
Or laughing if you stuff
or
up.
laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look like a Power Ranger, then yeah, of course. Now, uh, there's just no care factor. You just put on whatever you can find in the bag and you just play.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
I always enjoy that mentality. The new guys, it's cool. It's
yeah, it's fresh.
pick
You
a
know, people
color.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
they're excited. You can tell. It's good.
yeah, they want to, they get all the brand new gear. I get it. I've been there, you're really pumped, or, you're all kind of like matching. You look like a team, and you get really pumped, right? Because it's your first time, and it's all very exciting. So those kids that you see now that are starting, you kind of like look at it and go, man, that's what it's like. The excitement in their eyes, and they're looking at all the gear in the shop at the Action Paintball. They just it's just like unbelievable. Like there's so much out there these days now, right? So,
Oh, and it's so that it's easier too. They're all starting when they're 12 now, so
all
it's going to
right,
be
I know.
tough coming up.
Speaking of 12, my Caden's turning 12 December, and he's been on my back about it for almost a year now, about doing his birthday on
Nice.
December 10th. That's his birthday. So, or at least close to his birthday weekend, sometime somewhere around that date anyway, we will make it happen for his
Yeah.
birthday.
How cool is that? You thought you were going to have to wait another 4 years, but here you go.
Right.
You can step on the field with your son. That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
it is pretty cool able to do that. That I'm still an active player and able to, you know, show him the rope or join in with him or play alongside him, whatever. So he's uh he's definitely keen, that's for sure.
yeah. Well,
But yeah,
it'd be good to see. I can't wait.
yeah. So going back to the team, so back, yeah, so so I spent a year or two or whatever it was in Valhalla. Things didn't go, didn't things didn't play. Like all AM teams, it's hard to stay together. The track record, man. It's really difficult trying to keep a team together. Um, Money, people losing interest, whatever. So we what happened was that Eddie and I, we kind of stayed on, but not. We were still hanging around a little bit. Most of the guys we had, a few people come, like had a few new people join. A couple of our schoolmates left because they just wasn't that keen on it after all.
Yeah.
Uh, so we played another season with a couple, two or three new players. Um, Russ Bag, um, he joined us.
Russ.
Uh,
Who's that?
um, Russell, what's his surname again?
Russell Kiefer. Are you talking about?
Yes, yes,
Okay. Yeah.
Russell
Sorry.
Keeper.
Yeah.
I was just
All
called
right.
Russ
Sorry.
Bag. You don't say with someone's
Yeah.
nickname, you just never know, never either remember their first or their last name. So
Yeah. Okay. Respect. Yeah. So Russell
yeah,
Kiefer,
Russ,
another ex-SWAT
that's
player.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he joined Valhalla and spent, I think, just half a year or a year with us, and then he got asked to play on SWAT. So
Okay.
he left us, and then not long after that, um, most of the guys just sort of like want to just move on to different things, and then Eddie and I got asked to play on Sydney Shock with
Okay.
Jamie Griffin and who's the other friendly gentleman? Uh, Sorry if I forgot your name.
I'm,
Rain, is it
I
Rain? Rain?
Yeah,
And
Rain Man. That's it. Yeah.
yeah,
I was drawing a blank
again,
too. Glad you remembered it.
what's his name? Like I can't remember his name because all I know is his nickname. It's terrible. But
Yeah, there's a lot of
yes,
nicknames in paintball, and
exactly. You don't find out their real name until like a year later. You go, you're Dwayne? What? Really? You know, you're Jack? Really? I thought you was someone else. Like like he's one. This will probably fast forwarding a little bit, but Ryan Jacker. We just keep calling him Jacker. I didn't know his name was Ryan for like I think for like 2 months or something like that. Because I just keep calling everyone's keep calling him Jacker or whatever. So I was like, okay. And then I went, his name is Ryan. So anyway, so yeah, keep keep sidetracking a little bit here, but yeah, so
that's fine. Good stories.
move. So yes, join Sydney Shot. Um, play with them for about 2 years, and that was my introduction to the pro division with Sydney Shot. Um, and
Was when you were playing with Shock, was this still all in Sydney? Were the events all at Action Paintball at Rouse Hill?
yes,
Oh,
the it was so we back then sevens, as you remember, it was in Perth, in Brisbane, and in Sydney. Um,
so you guys were doing the whole circuit back then?
yeah, so we
Yeah.
did, yeah, we went to a couple of places, played in other states. I think it was part of the series. It was also my first experience playing with a US pro, Ben Fedrick, the owner of Exalt now,
Oh wow.
uh,
Okay.
founder, so or Hater Paintball at the time when he started out before he went to Exalt. Is that how
Okay.
you
I
pronounce
remember.
it? Yeah.
I remember that at Sydney Shock were uh, really pumping the hater line of things. That
Yeah,
was their.
because they had Ben Fedrick as their player. He used to play, I think at the time he was playing for Miami Rage, I believe.
Okay.
Um, and he was only like, man, I think he was only like 19 or something at the time when he came over. Um, so that was my first experience with a US pro player at the time. And then the other was Carl Mikulski. Mikulski, yeah,
Yeah.
he
Carl
was.
Markowski. Yeah.
So yeah, so during my time with Sydney Shock, I played with two US pros in different events. Um, Mostly they were all in Sydney when it happened. Um, yeah, and learned a great deal, had a great time. The boys were really nice to us, and Eddie and I really enjoyed ourselves at the time. And yeah, so it was a good couple of years of playing on a pro spot. I mean, we were still kind of still raw and still learning, so to speak, but we kind of got thrown into the deep end and and grow with the team with the guys. Um, and yeah, had a great time. Really, really good memories. Um,
How did you find, you know, how did you find the transition going up into the pro division and playing with US pros? Was that um,
well,
what am I trying to say
just
here?
to,
Was it yeah? How was that experience?
I guess that the eye opener is that again, I remember this, and it's just the fearlessness because they play so often. They're just going out there bat out of hell, right? They're just explosive out the gate, and it's just like tearing down the field. I still remember Carl Mikowski and even Ben. They were just shredding down one side of the field, just like they got a force field on them. Obviously sometimes they get shot, sometimes they make it to all the way to the other side of the field, shooting two, three players, like today's game, like the players of today. So that intensity, that speed, that was a bit mind blowing because here in Australia was wasn't exactly fast at the time, I guess. So when you see these guys coming over and they're just like, it's like they're doing a 100-meter sprint, you kind of like go, whoa, that's just like, that's incredible. Yeah, so that was a bit of an eye opener for me.
Yeah, I've heard people say around that time it was sort of the transition of when it sort of came out of the bush, or out of the woods, like the game really sped up around that time. I've heard people sort of describe that period a few times. It's yeah, it became less of a shooters game and more of an athletics game. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
the game really sped up, and people were just, like you say, hammering down the field.
yeah, it definitely was like we were like at the time it was almost like we were in two different universe. Um, it was just a whole different style of play and the pace, everything. I mean, you think you're playing fast and you kind of like you think you're moving quickly or you're doing your thing, and then you see these guys do it, and you go, man, we're like, we're still standing at the start gate, and they're like halfway down the field already. Um, so that was the level and the experience that they brought to the event, to the Super Sevens and to the paintball scene. So good on Jamie and Rainey, those guys. They're kind of like, and Sydney Swat too at the time as well. They're those guys bring over these pro players and sort of changing the way the Australians play as well. So yeah, I guess they're look. Again, I'm sure it's been done earlier than before my time, but that was just my experience. Yeah, at the time. So yeah, it was a bit of an eye opener. So yeah, they were the two first guys, the two, sorry, the two of the first US pros that I got fortunate enough to play with. So yeah, yeah. So
So, with Sydney Shock, how did you go? Do you have any, big events that you remember or anything like that? Any big
we
memories?
we did okay, but we didn't win any events. But we were kind of improving event by event. Um, you know, it was hard because you had a bunch of guys that's not that experienced, and then you have another half a team that's experienced. So yeah, so there was some gaps to fill, and it was difficult. So um, like I said before, Eddie and I were both thrown into the deep end. So we were learning as we go, and
So,
finding it the hard way, because you get most players these days, well, even in Australia now, right? You see there's quite they come through the ranks, so to speak. They go play AMs, they go play semi-pro, but they spent quite a number of years in this before they go playing in pro. But
yeah, so
we got accidentally sidetracked, fast tracked,
yeah,
right? Because it's just the right place at the right time, or there's not enough people, or whatever the case may be. Um, we found ourselves on Sydney Shock,
well,
and
like you say, it was the 7-man day, so they definitely needed the
yeah,
players then.
and I guess we were like the younger new guys coming on, and we were keen, and we want to play more, we want to move fast and do all these things, and I guess that I guess that Jamie and Rainey just thought would be the right fit for them. So yeah, we just thought, oh, that's nice that they asked us. So we felt that was that was cool. Pro team asking us to go and play with them, so we did. Yeah, simple as that. Didn't
So,
think nothing of it.
so where was your next? What was your next step after Sydney Shock?
So after that, we actually had we had a year off. Eddie and I, both of us, we kind of just went, oh,
Okay.
we're done with Sydney Shock. And oh, man, again, it's a bit vague, and but
Probably
I don't
had
know
something to
whether
do with money.
I think it's either the team was just breaking up or we're just leaving. I can't remember exactly what it was, but we Eddie and I both moved on because Eddie and I were really close mates, so we grew up together. We play paintball, from bush ball, amateur tournament scene, all the way through Valhalla in our first semi-pro event. Because even then, they didn't even have. Oh man, I don't think it was only semi-pro and pro back then.
Okay, two divisions,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was just only two divisions. Um, So, um, so we sat on the sideline for a year, and that year I think that year was the same year that the Simpsons joined as well. They started playing with Bitchin.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got
That was the
asked. Yeah, that was the year. Man,
okay.
again, timelines. I'm sure when you
Yeah.
get a chance to ask the Simpsons, then yeah, they'll remember it. But man, that I remember that year, those guys were playing on Bitchin, and they were doing quite well in the first couple or two or three events or whatever it was. And I can't remember whether it's their second year or the first or their second year. I think it's their second year together, Bitchin. At the end, I think at the close to the end of the year, we got asked to play on Bitchin. Now
Okay.
we actually got. I remember getting asked. I can't remember the exact story. Anyway, long story short, um, no, actually, I can't remember exactly. Anyway, but we got asked. Then and then the Simpsons joined Sydney Swat, and then not long after, Eddie and I got both asked as well to go and
Okay.
play with them
That's,
in that same time.
so you have a
So
year off and then get asked to play for SWAT. It
yeah,
sounds like a good
so
deal.
it sounded like a pretty good deal to me. So obviously we were doing something right. Sitting off people, you hear it, take your year off, you find yourself in a better team. You just never know, right? Um, uh, so yeah, well, that's right. So that was oh 07, oh 08, I believe, from memory, because I think that Darren Clegg was still on the team.
Yep.
Thomas Light, Sonic, he had just
Oh yeah.
left the
Okay.
team.
Yep.
Um, Russell Kiefer was still on the team, I believe, at the time as well. So, oh man, what are the other names? Whitey had left as well. So there was a seismic shift from the team. Like basically, they lost half the team, I believe. Hence why they picked up 4 players
Yeah.
in
It
one squad.
sounds like everyone was sort of, you said shock. The year before had a big shake up, and now a bunch of people
Yeah,
leaving SWAT. So it sounded like something, whatever it was, happened around that time,
yeah,
and a lot of people were leaving the sport.
yeah. And I just remember, yeah, just it was pretty big honor, right? Getting asked to play in Sydney SWAT, and even when we sat out for a year, um, I remember it was, I think it was Ian Tresser. He was the one that approached Eddie, and then Eddie told me about it, and they said they asked us both to come on board. So that's how it came about, you know,
You guys
thanks
are the
to.
package deal.
Well, I don't know how it worked, but yeah. So I just remember finding myself going, oh, "Okay, we're playing Sydney Swat," and he goes, "Yeah, we're doing that." I said, "All right, sweet, let's do it."
Yeah.
So
Why
that
not?
was that. Why not? And it was it was the same time when the Simpsons joined as well. That's that very same year. Um, so
Yeah. So
yeah,
four new players in one season. So
in
at
one
least you had someone to sort of, you weren't the only new person on that team. you
yeah,
you didn't have
and
such a
of
big.
course you were on the team already as well. Alex Saw, yourself. Um, yeah, you probably. I don't know if you can remember, but yeah, you were definitely
Oh,
there because you were there before me. So was Alex. So there's the other 2 players. um,
yeah. No, I definitely remember
uh, yeah,
picking
Darren
all you
Clegg,
guys up. It was
yourself.
good.
Yeah, so it was like ended up being like 8 or 9 of us on
Yeah,
the
and then
squad.
yeah, it was
Uh,
it
and
was
then
it was
Adam
good.
Connolly,
The
obviously
team
Adam Connolly
age.
was there as well.
Oh yeah, can't forget him. The
Yeah, of
team age
course.
definitely dropped a lot when everyone came on board.
Yeah, Yeah, that's right. Because it was, like I said, it was a pretty big deal because 4 players joining SWAT. I I don't know if there's ever been a precedent, but yeah, that's what I remember. Um, so yeah, that was my. I think it was '08. I'm pretty sure it was '08 when we joined. I might be
Yeah,
wrong,
I
but I
think so.
think it was '08. Yeah, whatever year you
I'm not
joined,
sure.
I joined after, like basically a year after that.
Well, that would have been
So
2000. I joined 2008, so the 2009 we're talking now.
9.
So
Okay. So yeah, because you okay, there you go, 9. It's 2009.
awesome.
Um,
So how did
so yeah,
do you remember how that first season went with Sydney Swat? How it was to be
well,
the FNG?
yeah, it's Adam was running the show. Adam Connolly, God love the man. He's a tough operator and a funny bastard.
Yeah.
Um, and no, was he? No, was he the captain? He was just helping out? No, Mike was still the captain. Mike was still the captain, and yeah, and Adam was obviously co-captaining it with Mike. I guess I can't remember the exact logistics of it. I was just one of the, one of the guys,
Trying
one
to
of the guys on the roster.
and just trying
Um,
to not get shot and
yeah, trying
do
to
your
get shot
best.
and just trying to fit in, yeah, and just do your best and fit in. And yeah, so from '09. So yeah, that first year that was interesting because um, lots of different personalities, different style of play, different sides of the field, all the whole shebang, right? Um, we Man, again, I don't remember winning that much that year. In fact, I don't think we actually won at all that year,
Yeah, we
because it was
didn't do very
no,
well.
it was a complete rebuild.
Yeah.
So I just remember the first year, maybe the first 18 months on the team was pretty tough because I was used to watching SWAT winning when I was on the sideline watching them play. When I was on Valhalla, right? So watching them
Well, you,
always, yeah, go on.
like you probably would have felt that you said that when you jumped on Sydney Shock, it was
Yeah,
just the two guys coming in. You probably had a lot of help and knowledge from all the other players where when
yeah,
50% of the team has pretty much gone and you're jumping in, it's tough because you don't have all those big names to lean on
all the
or the advice.
experience, yeah, all that experience, all that depth, all that advice. Um, they were there, but at the same time, it's not the same now. You just don't. I guess it was just very unusual. Probably it was very unusual to just pick up 4 guys at one time, and then you literally have 50% of your roster was just all brand new. Um, so, like you said, we had no one to lean on, and you kind of just have to fumble your way through it, and survival of the fittest, and trying to do your best. Um, but yeah, it was the first 18 months was pretty interesting, and then eventually we start to um, you know develop as a team. We start to sort of gel more, and then we will start to do quite well. We weren't winning every event, but I think we might have won our first event together as a new bunch or a new team. So I guess that we would just say it would be like the third generation of players going through SWAT at the time.
I think
Maybe
so.
second, maybe the second generation.
Oh,
Because
I think there was I think it was, you could call it sort of the third. Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
so I joined.
I've been
Yeah,
around too long to
yeah,
remember.
exactly. So I would say that I was when I joined, I was like the third generation of player that's gone in. And man, you might remember some of this, man, but can't remember how many wins or losses or how many events win or loss. But I just remember the first 18 months was really tough, and then eventually we start to get our act together, gel together, and we start to pick a couple of wins here and there. Didn't win the series, obviously, So I definitely remember that.
Yeah, they were
But
tough. They were tough to
yeah,
win back then.
yeah. Well, back then it was open
Always.
slatters. Yeah, open slatters with the pros too, right? They had, you know, you could bring 3, 4 guys running. There's no penalty points in the series. It's just free for all, you know. So
No.
there was some really tough events.
Yeah, I think I remember Menace bringing 4 over one year. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
they
sure they had
had.
4 US pro players.
Yep, that happened because I remember um, there was. Oh man, I remember Bobby was playing with him one time. I remember even Marcelo playing with him, if I'm haven't mistaken.
Yeah,
Ryan
Alex Savino
Greenspan,
was
Al
playing.
Sabino,
There was
Scott
got
Kemp
yeah,
play with him,
and Brandon Short as well.
Brandon Shaw. Man, the list goes on, right?
Yeah,
So, um,
it was a bit of an arms race for a few
oh,
years there.
absolutely. Because again, it's all started from. I guess it started from Sydney Swat because they had. There were times I just remember watching Sydney Swat play, and they had Ryan Moorhead, they had Tim Montressa playing with them, the two of them.
Yep. Yeah,
Um,
the first event I remember playing with SWAT, it was there was I think there was 4 or 5 on SWAT because there was Ryan Moorhead, Tim Montressa, there was Danny Tiljak played Junior Brown
right,
uh, who a UK guy, and then Nicky T. I remember
right. So there
remember
you
them
go.
playing early in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, see,
And
that's
then
what
they had
happens,
Mike
man.
Paxton over a couple of times. So yeah,
Yeah,
it was just this arms race. So I guess maybe they were trying to fill all the spots back then with US pros.
yeah. So I guess it's always been Sydney Swat's fault, right, for creating the arms race.
Yeah, it's all
Historically
SWAT's fault.
speaking, it's always Swat's fault. So now, you know, now that the gloves are off and everyone is you get a pro, you get a pro. Everyone brings a pro, you know, and
Yeah, it's definitely something had to happen.
yeah,
It couldn't
and
stay
it's
like
and it's
that.
been good for the and it's good for the sport, right? Because you need that, you need that, um, you need to, basically get everyone to level up to them, you know, to those guys that they're playing, with their level and their skill set. You just want to just right, they kind of like lead the charge, and you better step up and play like, well, try to keep up with them, and and do whatever you can to excel, I guess. But yeah, so there was that period of time that was just basically there was there was actually it was free for all. You can bring as many as you can pay for to come out. So that those years, that first 2 years, I remember. I think it was Menace that was winning all the series, if I recall. If I
Yeah, I
haven't
think
mistaken.
Menace were the team to beat for a while, and then as it moved on, hostile intentions sort of took that away from Menace.
From them,
They became
yeah,
the team to beat for a while.
yeah, and so so I think that was when we were starting to get our act together, on that late in the second year, I think 2010, um, is when we were, sort of coming to our own. Our guys have been playing together. We've all traveled over, we were all traveling overseas to play in Taiwan, in where else have we played? Malaysia,
Malaysia, yeah,
World Cup
Malaysia,
Asia,
yep,
Thailand.
outdoors in the
Yeah,
mud.
so we were one of maybe only a small number of teams, maybe only a couple of teams that were 2 or 3 teams that were traveling overseas. I know SWAT's been traveling overseas for years, but during my time, we were playing all over Asia and getting our game time experience overseas. And every time we come back, we would learn something different about us, as a team and ourselves, and we would play a little bit faster because obviously we were playing against um, some teams would come from Europe playing over those events too. So so it was interesting times, right? So we develop all our work experience overseas, so to speak, and then bringing them back here. Um,
And
and yeah,
And
Go on.
eventually the rules did change with the US pros, but they definitely left a lot behind. I know
Yeah,
they they taught just Australian paintball as a whole. I found at that time really just leveled up just from having, although we were getting beaten by them a lot, uh, and they sort of did skew the tournaments a little bit. They definitely just showed everyone how it's supposed to be done and really brought the game forward. I think I thought it was a
yeah,
good
no,
learning
no,
curve.
that's I couldn't agree more. It's still to this day, I feel that it's you got to have them there, because you can't you just can't just play in your own backyard and call this you know the highest level when you got all these great players from around the world, um, you know, doing their thing, playing at the highest level, and then not having them over here. It's just silly, you know. The whole no import thing. I think it's just crazy. I said, how do you um, move forward and develop you know the scene, paintball scene, or skill set if you don't bring in all these you know these pros, these really experienced player that plays every weekend or dozens of events around the world. So I think it's definitely good for the sport. More the merrier is what I say. You know,
Yeah.
look at it this way, right? Remember the days we started to beat Menace with all the imports, right? I
Yep.
remember it.
Yeah,
Uh,
when
it,
because
it
all of
got
a sudden it stopped working.
it
You
stopped
couldn't just
working.
buy a win anymore.
That's exactly what happened, and so that's where I remember seeing Menace starting to back off a bit on it, and because, like I said, it was a gamble. It's basically a form of gambling. You know, you the prize pool was pretty high back then. I think there was I can't remember, man. It was high. It was higher than what it is now, and so it was a case of if I bring three guys over or four guys, and it costs X, then if we win first place, it will cover 80% of the cost, so to speak, or 70% of whatever the hell it is, right? So
Yep.
you know it's worth the
It was a
gamble. So
gamble. Yeah.
it was a gamble, and so it paid off for a while, and eventually, we built our experience playing overseas. We got better as a team, as individuals, and then we kind of just, you know, we start to, beat up on them. Wasn't all the time, but we'll start to, get some momentum there. And yeah, and so did Hostile Intention too. They were home, they were completely homegrown. I don't remember them traveling that much outside of Australia either. But apart from that World Cup that we play with them that year, but that's a whole different story altogether. But um, that's a whole another bedtime story. Uh, but yeah, so it was they were tough years. So, but yeah, anyway, we started to build momentum. Then in what is it? From 2011 is when we won our first series.
Yeah, I believe it was around then. Yeah.
That's when you were the captain as well, right? Because Adam stepped down after
Yeah,
I
it was
think
either he won one and then I took over, or yeah, it was something. It was around that time. Yeah.
I don't know. I think you were captain the whole three times we won the series.
I don't say that. I don't think.
I can
I
say
thought,
that because that's what I. No, well, okay. All I remember is it's in the records, right? It's 11, 12, 13. Those are the 3 years that we won back to back, right? And so yeah, our first year was 2011, then 12, and then 13. So yeah, that was our that's where it was at.
yeah,
What more
they
can I
were.
say? There
It
were
was
some good
pretty.
years.
Yeah, they were good years. Good years to be on SWAT. I definitely. But as you said, we we went through some hard yards. You said you joined the team in 2009, so that's
Yep.
3 years of grinding before we started actually making it connect. There was a lot of work went into those wins. They weren't easy.
Yeah, look, it's it's no different now with the current crew at Sydney Swat now. There's we've had a couple of roster changes the last couple of years. People coming, people going, me coming back. So there's going to be some growing pains. Yes, the guys had a couple of good wins last year, and oh, not last year, the year before. I think the year before. Yeah. Anyway, they had like two back-to-back wins, like round 3, round 4. I think in 2017 or 18. 18. Yeah, 2018. They won round 3, round 4, and then last year, probably by far not the most successful year that we've had in all the years that I've been on the team. But lots of roster changes and new players that's still kind of developing. So I kind of feel like we're kind of in that time in that time frame, just like I was back when I started.
Yeah, it
You know,
sounds like history is about to repeat. You've
yeah,
taken your
that's the word
break,
for it.
and then you had a year off, and then Sydney Swats asked you to play for them. So
Well, this
you've got a
this all
brand new
came
team.
about by accident too. I last year when I played with Eskimo at first round, never did I think I was end up playing with them for the rest of the year. To be honest, that wasn't even on the radar.
It
Um,
was just supposed to be a one-off, was it?
it was no. I was playing a one-off event with the Eskimos. What happened was that there was a spot open, and I pinged Jamie and said I put my hand up, threw my hat in the ring, and said, "Hey, I'll play. I'll play with the Chad." I said, "That's another tick in the box." All the pro players that I've played alongside with, and it was a good opportunity to play alongside Chad. Um, so yeah, Jamie was nice enough to put me on the roster. So that was a great experience. And then, you know, Dave Black wanted to take a break after that run, and I just happened to be free because I wasn't really committing to anything else at the time. I just sort of looking at an event at a time. I wasn't even looking at a whole year. Um, yeah, long story short, man, I found myself playing on Sydney Swat from round 2 onwards last year. So that, that was never supposed to happen, but it did.
It's
Um,
almost like a curse. You just can't get away, no matter how hard you
well,
try.
it's not even I was trying to get away. It was more like um, it was just right place, right timing. Um, I guess that if Dave didn't take a sidestep, have a break, I may have still continued to play with Eskimos or with anybody else that wants to have me playing with them just for shits and giggles. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because I was quite
So
happily
that's
freelancing, you know, because I didn't have to, I just didn't have to worry about everybody or do everything. I just show up um, and just play the game and just enjoy the game. I didn't have to worry about organizing things. You know this, right? You spent 3 years captaining a team. You know, you have to different personalities, trying to get everyone together, practice, all that jazz, right? It it can
yeah,
wear it
Mike.
wear it wears you down after a while. Like
Yeah, Mike
oh
used a good analogy once.
yeah,
It was called herd. They said it's like herding cats. So it was pretty difficult. It was different. It makes you, instead of focusing on what you want to do as a player,
that's
you've
right.
got to focus on 6 other people as well.
Exactly, and I guess that after the first year, when I took it on board, I thought, oh, okay, let's do it. And by then, I just started to not enjoy it as much, playing as a just playing paintball because it was starting to. It was like being the manager. All I'm doing is just trying to manage people and try to who does what and who goes where and who goes on, who sits, and it was just like, man, this is like just doing my head in. I just want to play. Just tell me where to go. I just want to just do that. But yeah, end of the day, I just thought, oh well, I won a series as a captain, tick that box, and then that's when I stepped down, right? So I'm jumping around a bit, but yeah. So what is it? What year was that one? So 14, 15, 16. So yeah, 26. So I played as captain was 2014, 15, 16. Won the series in 2016. I I decided to step down, get the series and just go right. I'll go on a high.
Yeah, quit while you're ahead. Yeah, that's
Quit while you're ahead. Well,
the
you
way to
said
do it.
did right. Three series back to back, and then you quit while you're ahead. So so yeah. So yeah. Well, after that, I thought I've done everything I can do on the team. Won 4 series with the team. We talked about this earlier in our past messages in the past, and there's not a lot of players out there, at least in Australia, right, that can say that they've won 4 Super 7 series on one team, over a course of 9 years or something like that.
Yeah. No, it's
So
the loyalty is definitely there. It's
yeah,
that with SWAT. Yeah, you're one of the long-standing members of that team.
yeah. I mean, Alex Orr, right? He's one of them as well. He's
Yep.
won the same 4 in that same period of time as well. So he's been super loyal as well. But yeah, I one of the reasons why I came back and happily play with the team is I got along with all the guys, even though I wasn't playing on the team in 2018, 19. Anyway, I still got along with everybody. Like I was still talking with them. I still, when I came out to do the webcast, we're still saying highs, and it was all good. The friendship was all there. We all still got along, and so yeah, I kind of just when I come back to the gym, I just sort of like just slip right back in, but not having to worry about doing the captaincy work. Dave Black
Yeah,
had that.
taking a break from
Yeah,
being at the
just
top. So is
yeah.
that your plans now, is to stick with SWAT and keep rolling out the Super Sevens to the near future, or are you have you got plans to travel overseas still and play or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple of events here and there I would like to go overseas and do. Like, just do a few boxes to tick still that I haven't done. We'd like to sort of do that before I permanently stop, and that will happen. But like everyone, I wouldn't mind a couple of more rings. We talked about this. I wouldn't mind collecting a couple of more. I am. The Simpsons are going to laugh. I am 2 behind them now. So they've done very well for themselves. They've got 6 now. So I've got a little bit of catching up to do. But like I said, I'm happily still take the crown or at least Alex and I can say we have 4 series wins with the one team. So I'm okay with that too. But yeah, good on those guys for winning the last one last year as well. They've outdone themselves. But yeah, so it's this last season playing like the last 3 rounds was pretty interesting. Obviously, we were still kind of like fine. Literally, I was kind of thrown back into the deep end and go, right, let's get it together and trying to build some momentum. But it wasn't to be. It was still kind of even though it was only 1 or 2 people shifting around, it felt like it was a rebuild altogether.
Yeah.
So Dave done a great job since I stepped down as a captain to keeping the momentum. Like I said, in 2018, he won the team won round 3 and 4. Just marginally missing out the series, I believe, for that year.
Yeah, I think they had a one event they didn't make finals, so maybe
Yeah,
that's
so
sort of what threw that series
yeah,
out. Yeah, it's
so
tough at the top. If
yeah,
you
it's
want that
tough to
ring,
top.
it's it's good. It's been great watching on the sitting up in the booth and watching just the level of play out there. Everyone's to get those rings and to get those wins. It's not just one
It's
or
not
two
easy
teams in
anymore.
contention
It's
anymore.
Yeah, every year is harder now, right? Every year, every event is getting harder. It's the level playing field is definitely very close, as you can see in the last event, how close it is
Oh,
amongst it.
the
You know,
the top six teams could have easily won that
yeah,
event. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly right.
it's crazy.
So
It's
you know what? It
good to
was no
see.
surprise. It was no surprise that one of the Eskimo teams come out on top, um,
The game of
because
numbers. They
yeah,
just keep putting
it's
more and more teams in, and soon
well.
it'll have
That's not it. But
tough jockey.
it's yeah, I know. But those guys, you got to give it to them, like Jamie and Nathan Jones, right? They put a lot of effort in building a quality team, and now it's paid off. They got their first win. So congratulations to them, eh? So
Yeah,
it
that was
was
great.
it
Great
was
to
great to
see
see.
all
Like
their hard work
even
paying
though
off.
we came third, and again we missed out on going into playing for first and second. Still, just watching those guys win, it put a smile on my face because I felt like I played around with them and I was starting to see that this is coming together. Like I could see it round one of last year. Yeah, I could just see it going somewhere. Like I said, if Dave didn't step down and take a break for the year or most of the year, I think that I probably would have just kept on playing with Eskimo for the remaining of the year, just because they were happy to have me come and go as I please. So thanks again to Nathan and Jamie. They were just really nice to chill with, and play with. So those guys have done really well for themselves,
Yeah, no, it's been
promoting the
great to
game.
see, and definitely sounds like it would have been a lot less pressure than being in the captain's role on
Yeah.
SWAT. So just
Well,
before we're gonna have to
yeah.
wrap things up here soon. So before we head off, is there any sponsors or anything like that you want to give a shout out to, or we've got you on the
Yeah.
line?
Shout out. Of course. Of course. There's always good to shout out. Yeah. Shout out to our sponsors or to Sydney Swat sponsors. Action Paintball, paintballshop.com, Planet Eclipse, HK Army. Have I missed anybody else? It's always something. Paintball Assassin, of course. Mike, Wybrew, and John Caruana. Everyone at Action Paintball. Yeah, so hopefully I haven't missed everyone. I'm pretty sure I've covered everybody. Yeah, but yeah, that's me.
So while I got you here as well, something we're asking all the guests we get on, is there somebody that you could recommend for me to get on the show and have a chat to, someone that you think contributed quite a bit to the history of Australian paintball?
I have to say Wybrew, right?
Okay.
Because
He's
he's probably a no-brainer. But if you're talking about someone else other than Wybrew, um, someone that's it's so many people. Um, you looking for what are you looking for? Someone just recent?
just anyone that you think the listeners might want to hear from. Someone sometimes these people have really interesting histories that you just don't know about. So
You know what? I would
you've
like to
played with
hear
quite a few people.
where Jamie Angus and maybe you can get Jamie and Nathan together, how they, come to where they with the beginnings of, because I actually don't even remember how the beginning of their team, how it all started. So
Yeah, it's something I don't know a lot about. To me, it was sort of when I had my little bit of a break from the sport as well. So they just sort
so
of
yeah,
appeared. So that'd
so that would be the guy I
be a
would
good
pick
one.
first over Wybrew. Is from Jamie Angus and Nathan,
Okay.
one or both of them together. They can share their story on how they, how it all begin.
Yeah, would be good to know because it's in the time I've been watching them, it's been great to see them get that win and in all the other divisions getting wins, but taking first and second with their two teams, that's
Mm.
a it's an amazing progression story. That's just shows that hard work and putting it all together, it does pay off.
I always say that everyone has their time in the sun. So you can't win them all, but you know we will we'll get there eventually. You know
There's always more fingers to put rings on.
that's right, and there's always another event. So yeah.
So if anyone out there wants to track you down, are you on social media or anything like that? Anywhere people can reach you?
Uh, Look out for me in practice at at Action on any given Sunday. Well, not every Sunday, but most Sundays. And yeah, you can look for me on Facebook. Just look at my profile photo. It's got Sydney Swat on it, so it's not hard to pick when you find Ringo Ng there. But yeah, anyway, that's me.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, Ringo, thanks very much for dropping in, and thanks a lot for supporting the podcast. Thanks for
Oh,
sharing your stories.
my pleasure. Thanks, Scotty, for having me.
Yeah, good. Brought back a lot of memories. It was
Yeah,
yeah, good
there's
good
so much.
sharing the field with
There's
you.
yeah. Likewise, there was so much other things, but there's only so much time.
Yeah, well, that's as things go on. I'm sure we can revisit some of these things. I'm sure a lot of stories will keep popping up because they're so intertwined. While we
Yeah,
were going through all our struggles, there was teams out there, going through the same things or if not worse. So I'm sure
yeah,
as
exactly.
as we move on, we'll find out more and more stories about what was happening.
Yeah, that'll be good because I'll definitely be listening to what everyone else's stories. That's for sure.
Yeah, so I'm 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 looking forward to it. So thanks again for supporting it and yeah, thanks for dropping in.
You're welcome. All right.
All right, I'll see you next time. Thanks everyone for dropping in and checking out the Down Under Paintball. Again, big thank you, big shout out to Ringo for taking the time to get on the line and have a chat to us about his playing career. And I hope everyone enjoyed that episode as much as I did. If you want to find out more, make sure you search out Down Under Paintball on Facebook and YouTube. If you want to drop me a line, you can do it either on social media, or if you want to send an email, it's dupaintball@outlook.com. Massive thanks to everyone for all the support you've shown me so far. It's been great to see everyone getting behind the show and checking it out. So again, I'm Scott, and this is Down Under Paintball. See you next time.